This is DaveNoseworthyMMA.
There's a very small percentage of fighters on the UFC roster that can be coming off of 2 losses and still get pegged to headline a UFC event. The MMA world can be cruel. The fans and media tend to be fickle and pretty quick to forget about the amazing things a fighter has done in their career if they're coming off a loss or two. The saying, "What have you done for me lately?" is used a hell of a lot in this game. But there are certain characters out there whose fanfare is barely affected by a loss. Even if that loss is by a KO or TKO, and it's because they're so highly entertaining, people are tuning in to watch anyways because they know that when this person steps in the cage, it's always an electrifying affair. Justin Gaethje is one of those fighters. One thing a lot of these guys have in common is that they take risks. They put themselves in harm's way in an effort to score big offense. They accept the fact that the style is extremely dangerous for their career and for their health. And whether it pays off for them or costs them the fight, they accept the result, which is a quality that reflects very well on them and endears them to the MMA fan base. But more often than not, being this type of fighter means you take a lot of damage. And in this day and age and what we now know about head trauma, it's really not something to be taken lightly. I feel like a total hypocrite because I love the stand-up part of MMA. It's such a dangerous game to play with a million different possibilities and so many different styles of technique. It's generally what gets me most excited when watching. But when you play the striking game like Gaethje likes to do, it just doesn't bode well for longevity in the sport. But back to what makes him such a fan favorite. He's acknowledged this many times in the past, and he has been very forthcoming about why he fights the way he does. He is here to give the fans what they want to see, and he has constantly delivered. Not only that, he has a professional record of 18-2 with his only 2 losses coming to a former UFC lightweight champion and a current UFC lightweight contender. So as an armchair MMA coach, it's kind of hard to tell a guy like this to change anything about what he's been doing all this time. But what a lot of people don't realize is that Gaethje's been wrestling since he was 4 years old. A high school wrestler that was a 4-time finalist and 2-time Arizona State champion. This is an individual who wrestled for University of Northern Colorado and was a Division I All-American. He has very serious accolades in a discipline of MMA that's most people consider the best base to have. And nobody has a sweet clue he even has it because he just steps into the center of the octagon and just starts throwing punches until somebody falls. How can you not love that mentality? But I've got to admit, as much as I love seeing Gaethje sling leather, I'm really curious to see what his wrestling game is like. Based on his resume, he should be able to go in there and control a meaningful percentage of the division on the mat. And just the thought of seeing that is totally alien, but I want to see it. I think a lot of us MMA fans would like to see it. And it's not just to give Gaethje a break from trading shots, but because I'm also a huge fan of the grappling aspect of martial arts, and I'm just really curious to see what he looks like on the ground. What makes this next fight for him very interesting is the fact that he's in extremely tough against James Vick. It's not just that Vick is supremely talented and on the rise, it's also the fact that he's the behemoth of a lightweight standing 6 foot 3 inches tall. Also no stranger to taking a risk from time to time and providing awesome entertainment for all the fans. It's definitely fixing to be a good one, but ahead of UFC Fight Night live from Lincoln, Nebraska, I have a request for Justin Gaethje. And that request is, give the fans what we want to see. And at some point in this fight, show us what that grappling prowess is all about.